Okay, lesson 3. I want to dig into a concept known as intervals and talking about playing intervals. When we're talking about intervals, we're talking about basically two notes, two different notes. I'm going to use the key of C to explain some of this, and basically I want you to keep in mind that when we are thinking about notes and scale steps and intervals, we're talking about a scale in a sense, and we're talking about numbers. And so if we start on the note C and we call that our 1, then D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5, A is 6, B is 7, and our octave is C. Okay? So now, I want to talk to you about very specific intervals that are common in music. The interval of a third, a fifth, a sixth, and an octave. Alright? Based on a C, starting with a C. If we play a C note and an E note together, we are playing what's called a major third. Alright? If I change that E to an E flat, I'm playing a minor third. There are major and minor thirds. And we can play riffs in thirds. Alright? You've heard things like this in a lot of songs. If I move over on the top end of the guitar, you've heard that little riff in thirds in the song Brown Eyed Girl. Alright? Thirds are a fun and cool way to spice up a melody line. Alright, so it's not just a single note all the time. Alright? Thirds can be played almost as a scale. You can play an entire scale in thirds. If you want to know more about this kind of thing, I teach it in depth in the advanced level of this course. So you can finish up the intermediate and go right into the advanced level, and you will learn a whole lot more about the thirds, alright, and the scale patterns of thirds and all that. Alright? The next interval would be fifths. Alright? A fifth, we're talking about a power chord basically. Alright? If I play from a C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to the fifth note, alright, that's a fifth. Okay? Certainly you understand what fifths are. Power chords are fifths, alright? And we can actually play fifths all over the fretboard. They change fingering up here on the top couplet, or they change fingering up on the top. But for the most part it's like that. Fifths are used more commonly in a rhythm sense. Thirds you can use in a lead sense. All right. The next interval I want to talk about are sixths. So if I start on C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The A note is our sixth of C. If I play those two notes together, I'm playing a sixth. There are major and minor sixths. If I lower that sixth, I've got a minor. If I play a scale pattern, there's some pretty cool things you can do with that. If I move over on some of the higher strings, there's all kinds of cool things you can do with sixths. There's a lot of songs that you may have heard that do things like this. Those are sixth-based riffs, alright? There's all kinds of fun things to do with sixths, so you want to dig into that. Again, in the advanced level of the course, I dig really deep into the sixth. I show you entire scale patterns using sixth and all kinds of sample riffs, alright? One last interval I want you to be familiar with is the octave. When we play from a note to the next highest pitch of that same note, so C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, so two C's, that's one octave apart. And octaves can be slid around pretty easily. They're pretty cool, alright? And there's a lot of times when you hear them used. Alright, you can play an octave with your first and third finger, two strings apart, starting on the sixth string or on the fifth string. If you move over to the fourth string, you've got to suddenly move one fret higher on that other string. And then the same over here if you're starting on the third string. You've heard of this kind of thing before. Those are octave riffs. Some people say an octave riff has a little bit of a hollow sound to it. You hear what they mean because it seems to be missing that filler that makes it into a chord. It has that little hollow ring to it. That's an octave. And octave riffs are used in all kinds of songs by all kinds of artists. All right? So there, you've learned about thirds, fifths, sixths, octaves. Again, I teach all of these more in depth in the advanced level course. Hopefully you'll turn right around when you're done with the intermediate course and dig into that.